Leukemia is a type of cancer. It is cancer of the blood cells in the bone marrow. But how does it all happen? What happens to the body when it has leukemia? To find out, we must travel into the body itself, entering the micro world of the cells. The body performs thousands of different processes. These processes are carried out and controlled by workers called cells. One of the most important cell groups are the blood cells. These blood cells are made in the bone marrow, which is where our journey begins. The body needs to make billions of blood cells a day. Because of this, the bone marrow has to operate quickly and efficiently. It makes white blood cells, the body's doctors, red blood cells, the oxygen carriers, and platelets, which are like internal plasters. All the different blood cells are grown from stem cells. The cells then mature in the marrow and are released into the bloodstream to take their part in the running of the body. Sometimes a defective blood cell is created. The cell cannot perform its vital role efficiently. Usually a sign would tell the cell to destroy itself. However, this cell ignores the body's instructions and begins a process called mitosis. It divides itself into two, making an exact copy. Each new cell does the same, rapidly reproducing the same defective cell. These defective cells are called cancer cells. The bone marrow becomes filled with the cancerous cells. It thinks that it has created enough blood cells and the production of new blood cells is halted. The cancerous cells enter into the bloodstream and spread through the body. If a virus or harmful bacteria enters the body, the white blood cells are sent to fight the foreign cells before they can reproduce. But the cancerous white blood cells are immature and do not have the correct information on how to combat these infections. The foreign cells divide and spread throughout the body, making the body sick. Cancer can be treated with chemotherapy. This is when a medicine called the antineoplastic drug is introduced into the bloodstream. This drug is toxic to rapidly producing cells like the cancer cells. It latches onto the cancer cells and kills them. The bone marrow then receives a signal to make new blood cells. White blood cells can then mature and combat any infections the body may have, returning it to a fully functioning life machine.
Some symptoms I had that indicated I had leukemia were chills, fevers, vomiting, as well as chest pain that was off and on for about 3 weeks, and also unexplained bruises.
The only symptoms I experienced were actually just a loss of appetite and fatigue.
Treatment, I received 3 rounds of chemotherapy. In these rounds, I received large amounts of chemo for a 5-day period, and these would be inpatient, and my inpatient stays would be about a month long. Throughout the chemo rounds, I also had spinal taps very often because they found leukemia in my spinal fluid. The effects that I went through in these rounds of chemo were hair loss and nausea. In the beginning, I was so sick and knocked out from the chemotherapy that when I was finally alert, I woke up with a hoarse voice and bloodshot eyes due to broken capillaries, and that was all because I was vomiting. After my 3 rounds of chemo, I went to Oregon to receive an unrelated donor bone marrow transplant, and to prepare for that, I had to get a whole bunch of tests, like pulmonary function tests and liver tests and all these things. And so I had 8 sessions of total body radiation leading up to the transplant, as well as 2 days of high-dose chemo. Then it was transplant day. The transplant went well. The effects of the radiation and the chemo were mucositis. It's a type of mouth sore that lines your throat and your mouth.
My treatment is over 2.5 years, and it's divided into a bunch of different phases. During the first phase, I was given chemo and steroids and chemo pills and spinal taps with chemotherapy, so that's in my spinal fluid, and they put chemotherapy in it. And that was about a month I was on that treatment, and then I moved on to the second phase and so on, where I'd get it once a week, and occasionally I'd get chemo pills, and occasionally I'd get spinal taps. And right now I'm on the last phase, which is 2 years, and I get chemo once a month. I'm taking chemo pills continuously. I'm on steroids occasionally. As far as how it affected me, chemotherapy, at first it can make you like nauseous, and it just takes a lot out of you. And a lot of the time you throw up and you're nauseous and stuff like that. But people lose their appetite. I did. I also experienced foot drop, where it's like they call it chemo feet, where it's harder to pick up your feet, and I actually sprayed my ankle a couple of times. For chemotherapy, I lost my hair, so my hair used to be long, so now it's short now, and it's growing back, which is good. And when I was on steroids, it gave me high blood sugar, which meant that I didn't lose weight, which also happened because of the chemotherapy, but I lost about 15 pounds at first. And steroids also, I had to be on insulin. I couldn't eat high sugary things. And during this whole period, I lost a lot of my strength, and it just wasn't as strong as I used to be, and it changed everything, I guess.
Following my treatment, now that I'm in remission, my recovery is going well. I'm 2.5 years cancer free as of now, and at first it was really hard. After my transplant, I couldn't be outside or outdoors around a lot of people for about a year, and that was really hard on me. I like to go places and stuff like that, but now I'm able to do that and go places, and I'm able to return to school after about 2 years of being out, and I've been in school for the last year. My hair has grown back nicely and curly, in fact. It used to be straight.
Technically, I'm still in treatment, but I am in remission, and so far I've been recovering well. I started school about a month ago, and I was actually not in school for about a year, and I'm getting back into normal things, I guess you could say, like going back to dance, and my hair is growing back, and just going back to my normal life, and things have been going well, and I've been feeling better, so that's good.